You see the headlines everywhere. Oil has hit $100 a barrel. It sounds like a problem for billionaires and big corporations, right? But the truth is, that massive barrel is leaking directly into your personal finances. Every drop is your money slipping away. You feel it first at the gas station. You watch those numbers spin faster than ever, taking a huge bite out of your paycheck just to get to work. Suddenly, your wallet feels a lot lighter, but the pump is just the tip of the iceberg. There is a hidden tax built into almost everything you buy, stacking up like an endless receipt of invisible fees. You go to the grocery store with the same budget, but somehow, your cart is half empty. Where did the money go? It went into the transport. Every apple, every shirt, every item you buy had to be shipped. When oil spikes, the cost to move goods spikes, and they pass that cost straight to you. Then comes the electricity and heating. The utility companies pay more for energy, so they drop the hammer on your monthly bills, crushing your savings. You find yourself doing frantic math at the end of the month, wondering how you are suddenly in the red despite doing nothing wrong. It's the invisible hand of the oil tax, quietly slicing away your hard-earned income before you even have a chance to spend it. Think about plastic. Every bottle, every container, every package on the shelf is made from petroleum. When oil goes up, the packaging costs go up. Even the food you eat isn't safe. Modern agriculture relies heavily on oil for fertilizers and tractors. You are quite literally eating that higher oil price. And the clothes on your back? Synthetic fibers are tied directly to the barrel. Price tag stretches, but your budget doesn't. Then winter hits. The cost to heat your home suddenly skyrockets, turning a basic necessity into a luxury you can barely afford. It's a brutal domino effect. One barrel of oil knocks over the entire line of your living expenses. Corporations are smart. Instead of just raising the price, they use shrinkflation. You pay the same, but the box magically gets smaller, or they hit you with surcharges. Suddenly, a basic delivery fee feels like you're paying to ship a ton of bricks. Planning a vacation? That cheap flight is instantly dragged down by hidden fuel surcharges that they bury in the fine print. Big companies have the power to shield themselves. They simply pass the storm of rising costs directly down to you, the consumer. So, you are forced to tighten the belt. Every single day becomes an exercise in squeezing your wallet just to survive the pressure. Even your morning routine isn't safe. The cost to transport those coffee beans, plus the plastic in the lid, turns a simple cup into a luxury. You might think digital services are immune, but servers run on energy. When energy prices surge, your subscription fees quietly drain your accounts. Meanwhile, your paycheck stays the same. But as everything else goes up, the true value of your income shrinks bite by bite. Healthcare costs weigh heavier, too. Medical supplies require petroleum to manufacture and transport, passing the burden straight to patients. Try to enjoy a meal out, and you'll see menus changing constantly. Restaurants have no choice but to push their soaring supply costs onto your plate. And the roof over your head, building materials, utilities, and maintenance costs inflate massively, making housing harder to hold on to. We are all tangled in a global supply chain. When the cost of moving goods skyrockets, every link in the chain gets heavier for you to pull. Just maintaining a vehicle feels like your savings are being siphoned directly out of your bank account. The purchasing power of your money is melting away faster than you can spend it. And when you try to reach for your emergency fund, you realize the rising costs have locked you out of your own financial security. You push forward, but the burden of everyday groceries feels like you're moving solid iron. The wheels are buckling under the inflation. When the cash runs out, you turn to credit. But relying on plastic to survive just burns a dangerous hole in your future. And as the central banks try to fight inflation, they hike interest rates. Now, your debt isn't just a burden. It's a steep mountain you can't climb. You shake every resource you have, checking every corner of your budget, but you are fundamentally running on empty. If you look closely at the money you have left, you can literally watch its value shrink day by day. Your dollar is just a fraction of what it was. Time is no longer on your side. Every tick of the clock feels like an uncontrollable bleeding of funds you simply cannot stop. The math is broken. Your tiny, stagnant income is violently launched into the air by the crushing, heavy anvil of your daily expenses. You become afraid to open your own mailbox. The final notices and rising bills multiply faster than you can ever hope to pay them. You hustle. You try to save. You plug one leak, but 3 more burst open. You are trying to hold water in a bucket full of holes. And then, the breaking point. The financial pressure doesn't just rise, it crashes down on you like a massive, unavoidable wave. You are officially underwater, When the wave crashes, you are left sitting in the wreckage. The budget isn't just tight anymore. It's completely broken. You check your accounts, your pockets, your couch cushions, but the reality is stark. The balance is zero. You are forced into extreme survival mode. Frugality isn't a choice anymore. It's eating the cheapest possible calories just to exist. You have to do the painful surgery. You cut up the credit cards, because borrowing money to survive only poisons your future. You start unplugging your life, cutting subscriptions, canceling plans, sitting in the dark just to shave a few dollars off the utility bill. Even basic food feels locked away from you. The things you used to take for granted are now strictly rationed. It does. Every time you try to crawl forward, the heavy iron anchor of the debt you accumulated during the crash drags you right back down. You work harder, you run faster, you exhaust yourself completely, but the interest rates act like a treadmill. You run for miles just to stay in the exact same place. Eventually, the money just stops. The lifeblood of your personal finances flatlines entirely. You have hit absolute rock bottom. You stare down into the void of your debt. It feels like a bottomless pit. Any money you throw at it simply disappears into the darkness without a sound. At your lowest point, it feels deeply personal, like there is a dark cloud of inflation raining specifically on your life. You panic. You thrash around in the quicksand of minimum payments and small debts, only to find yourself sinking faster. Until finally, the foundation simply gives way. The cost of living becomes too heavy, and the system snaps. But this is where everything changes. Because hitting rock bottom does something important. It forces you to wake up. It sparks a sudden realization in the dark. You stop panicking. You take a step back, wipe away the panic, and look at the financial game with absolute, ruthless clarity. You start looking closely at where your money is actually going. You magnify the fine print, the hidden fees, the tiny leaks draining your life. Then, you get aggressive. You take a red pen to your budget and brutally slash away the wants, the luxuries, the subscriptions tying you down. You bring order to the chaos. Every single dollar gets a name and a destination. Needs, wants, savings, total control. Instead of trying to catch the water, you fix the bucket. You hammer a hard stop into your lifestyle inflation and seal the leaks permanently. Math becomes your absolute defense. When you know your numbers, the external pressures of marketers and impulse buys simply bounce off. And sons, you take that extra cash and attack the debt. You start small, but the momentum builds. The debt snowball rolls forward, crushing the red tape. With the debt clearing, you plant a different kind of seed. High-yield savings and investments. You finally let compound interest work for you, not against you. You realize the greatest asset is yourself. You open the toolbox of knowledge, upskilling and learning, permanently increasing your value in the market. You don't rely on just one hose anymore. You open a second stream, a side hustle, a freelance gig. Diversifying your income makes you unshakable. You pick up the phone and negotiate. You trim the fat off your utility bills, your insurance, and your subscriptions, keeping the core value intact. You take willpower out of the equation. You automate your finances. The money flows directly to investments and savings before you can even touch it. You build your emergency fund. Now, when an unexpected crisis tries to drag you under, you have a solid life ring of cash to keep you afloat. You buy hard assets. You build a golden wall against inflation, ensuring that the wealth you create today is protected for tomorrow. And then it happens. The final payment is made. You shatter the chains of consumer debt, reclaiming absolute freedom over your life. Like, you are no longer reacting to the economy. You are building on top of it. Your trajectory is finally, permanently, pointing up. You start protecting your true wealth. You build your nest egg, nurturing it with consistency and patience, ignoring the noise of the market. You build systems that work for you. Passive income becomes the wind in your sails, generating wealth even when you are standing still. You harness the most powerful force in finance, compound interest. A small, consistent effort today turns the massive gears of your future wealth. When the next economic storm hits, and it will, you don't panic. You have built a financial armor of solid assets that external shocks simply bounce off of. You are no longer trying to catch a leaking bucket. You have diverted the river of your income into a deep, secure reservoir of lasting value. Financial literacy was the master key all along. Once you understand the rules of the game, you unlock doors that were previously shut tight. The heavy burden of daily survival is finally lifted. Your purchasing power is restored. What used to be a crushing struggle is now completely effortless. You aren't just surviving anymore. You are leaving a legacy. The seeds you planted have grown into a self-sustaining forest of generational wealth. You can look to the future with absolute clarity and confidence. Your financial trajectory is set, guided by the principles you've mastered. Because true wealth isn't just about having money. It's about having peace of mind, the freedom to rest, secure in the knowledge that your future is entirely your own.